you?
Hey guys, it's Sean O'Connell, the managing editor here at CinemaBlend, breaking down the new trailer for Marvel's upcoming film, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I had to get together with one of our fellow Marvel geeks, Law Sharma. Hi Law, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm really excited to talk about this trailer, Sean. Super stoked.
I am too, and coming out of it, we both have kind of different reactions, so we're going to break down what we saw, what it meant to us, and then we want to hear from you guys to sort of figure out how the trailer hit for you guys. So if you're on our YouTube page, make sure you go down, hit subscribe, turn on your notifications. We want you in the comment section down below telling us what you think about this new trailer. I know we have a couple of months to wait before we get there, but we're almost there. Shang-Chi is coming, and we're going to tell you why we are both hyped and a little bit cautious. So let's get into our first section, Law. This one is a mix of both. It's hyped and cautious because we want to talk about the martial arts aspect of it. I'll go first and say that I'm a little bit cautious because in looking at the trailer, and I totally understand that the trailer is just supposed to be like a brief sample of what we're going to expect in the movie.
Yeah, here's a little taste.
But taste. And I hope that there's more martial arts than what we saw in the film. I know that there's some training aspects to it, and you do see Shang-Chi, the main character, as a younger person, and we get a little bit of his history. But I'm concerned that this is going to be one of those situations where he doesn't realize his full potential until the end of the film, and then that's when the martial arts aspect of it will kick into a full gear, and then the movie will leave you a bit like, okay, come back for the sequel, for the really full-blown Marvel martial arts movie. Are you concerned about that in the least bit, or am I overthinking it?
I think you have every right to be concerned about that because, you know, there is kind of a problem in sometimes in MCU movie where it can become a little formulaic, and based on the trailer, it's hard not to see how that story could play out. I'm hoping the fact that we see him training from a young age, I'm hoping the fact that we have people who can actually physically move. And, you know, we got those little homages of those fight scenes, but you're right. It's like not necessarily kung fu. It's martial arts. It's general fight choreography, but it may not be exactly what like the master of kung fu should be touting around. So I think I think that's totally fine to be concerned about because you never know. But based on that, what I'm excited about is that this is fight choreography that looks grounded in the same way that the Winter Soldier's fight choreography looked grounded. Obviously there was that, you know, that knife trick, and it's hard not to draw those parallels, but that's what I'm most excited for, is that we're actually seeing, you know, Simu Liu in action doing that split kick. I don't know if anyone else tried to do that split kick. I definitely did, and didn't work out so well, but it's exciting to me because I think there's potential of it honoring martial arts films, or like even the wire work that we saw like a little brief moment of in the trailer. I'm hoping there's more of that, and I hope it doesn't go in the way of like live action Mulan, where it was like so, you know, supernatural that it didn't feel grounded, it didn't feel like real fighting anymore. So I hope there's like a good balance.
It's interesting you brought up live action Mulan, because there was the one scene that has this sort of colorful splash that felt to me a little bit like Raya in The Last Dragon. Like
it looked exactly,
to that.
Yeah, just pulled right out of there.
Or even like a crouching tiger almost too. And I you know, the more I watched that trailer, I was like, well, where in context is that scene coming from? I was trying to figure out what type of training or reference that's going to be. So I don't know. And then the end of it kind of looks like a sort of, well, this will transition us into our next section. And listen, I don't want to be down on the trailer. I think the trailer was interesting enough. And of course I'm all in. It's new Marvel, and I definitely want to get to the sense of it. But this is why I'm cautious for this bit of the trailer. Marvel now, like you mentioned, has a template. And they absolutely have a template when it comes to origin stories. And so this is going to have to be an origin story for a character we haven't yet met. And so the trailer had a little tone of Shang-Chi and the Captain Marvels of the Black Panther Ant-Man.
I get
there
that.
are little bits you pointed to at different points in the trailer, and I was like, so there's a definite scene at the end which looks like a real melee of a lot of characters fighting. And I was like, oh, well, that looks like the final shot in Wakanda, you know, the last fight in Wakanda.
Yeah.
And the bit at the end, the stinger at the end for the comedic element, reminded me just of an Ant-Man joke.
We make a good team.
And so did that strike you in any way, that it feels like they're following the origin story playbook.
Yeah, I think on my first couple watches, I was just so excited to be, Marvel movies are releasing again. Nature is healing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm excited that like it's happening, and Kevin Feige is back on my screen every now and then.
He never left my screen, Law. That's the trick. I just keep him there all the time.
I can only imagine the different tropes that this could fall into. Like not anything against Awkwafina, but like when she did that final line, Sean, I will agree, it kind of reminded me of like Darcy Dark World era. You know what I mean? Like it took me back to like that kind of comedy that may not land with a lot of people or who want more from their comedy, sidekicks.
Well, I want to see Marvel evolve.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to see them necessarily doing it because it worked in those other films.
Yeah.
That's the only bit that worries me about it, is that like every time we get an origin, because we're going to get Eternals also, and I don't want to see Eternals fall into this same blueprint also. Now we're judging it on the trailer, and maybe this won't be the bit, but that Darcy reference is a perfect example. That's exactly what it felt like to me too.
Yeah, so I am cautious, and I think the humor, you said it was very Ant-Man, and I loved Ant-Man. I think there's something really charming about Ant-Man being such a small, kind of like contained story in San Francisco. But Shang-Chi looks like it's going to be much larger. Like you said, there's that final battle scene. It's hard to see where the context of this movie fits into the MCU, but I'm excited about those little connections that you get glimpses of. Like, what are we going to cover from the MCU that maybe we didn't get, that perspective on before? So there's a lot of potential, but like you said, because of that template that we're so used to seeing, it could be like another, for me, a Captain Marvel. Like I enjoyed the film, but like the way that the story beats played out for me, I was just like, well, I kind of saw this coming, and it would be really unfortunate if Simu Liu is just a kung fu guy until the end, where he gets like a manifestation of the chi or whatever it's gonna be in the explanation. So it is concerning, but I can't shake off the actual excitement of just like seeing the trailer. Like there's something, like it's like eating candy. I just was so happy about it. You know what I mean?
Well, and I'll let you get to the last section, but I kind of want to go back, because I'm glad you mentioned Captain Marvel. Like I do want to go back and take a look at the first trailer for Captain Marvel and see how much was revealed, because this is exactly where Marvel wants us to be. We're months out from the film's opening. We still have to get through Black Widow and the Loki television series, so there's plenty of Marvel to keep us busy. Yeah. But this is at a stage where we should be asking these questions. We should be wondering exactly what is coming with Simu Liu in this lead role, and what we're going to get from Shang-Chi and how it fits into the universe. You are thrilled for the fact of the representation that's coming with the film as a whole, and it's a reason why you are hyped for it. So dive into that.
Yeah, I can't stress enough, and I use this as an example in my life a lot, but Crazy Rich Asians literally changed my life. I started getting work. People started like calling me because they're just like, "Hey, you're Asian. We want you on camera." And I love that. And it changed my life. And I think in a lot of ways, this is kind of another life-changing event for a lot of Asian kids out there who are going to see Simu Liu, ripped out of his mind, doing kung fu, and it's just gonna get them hyped. I could talk about the Awkwafina casting and how she seems to be like the it girl for the Asian community in like a lot of big budget movies, but like good for her. You know what I mean? That is something that while they can diversify those kind of like roles a little bit and find other funny Asian actresses, I think it's still exciting that the cast is majority Asian. I think it's great that they got Tony Leung, famous Hong Kong actor, superstar in his own right, to be hopefully what is the real Mandarin. You know what I mean? And I'm excited for it. I know Michelle Yeoh's casted in it, and she's coming back to the Marvel universe in a different character, which is also like an interesting thing. It's another speaks to that diversify your casting kind of thing. But all that being said, I am so excited. When I saw the Chinese War Lions, I was like, that's gonna resonate with someone in such a big way. And even just seeing them sing karaoke, I'm an Asian American guy. I love going to karaoke with my Asian friends. It's like our favorite pastime. We sing karaoke, and especially A Whole New World, so I don't mind it. And then there's the...
Wait, is that what they were singing?
Yeah, it was A Whole New World in the
they were
back,
singing.
which is great.
Really? That's funny.
That Disney plug / like, oh, Katie's about to see A Whole New World. You know what I mean? Yes, synergy. At the end of the day, I'm excited because of the potential representation. This is the Asian American community, or, you know, Simu Liu is an Asian Canadian. You have a mix of actual actors from China, you know, and then you have the Marvel universe. You're blending all of these communities together, and I'm hoping that it can only build from here, because I would love to see an Agents of Atlas come into fruition. And that starts with Jimmy Woo, that starts with Simu Liu. So it is exciting. And I think there are references in the trailer, even just the costuming, the Kung Fu Hustle poster, the fact that Mandarin's iron rings are like, they made them the iron rings from actual Kung Fu movies. I think that's really interesting. Right. And I think they're trying to honor culture without trying to pander to it. And I'm really hoping that it all comes together, because it could just feel like they're pandering. You never know.
For sure. That's a difficult line to walk. And I think by this point in the MCU experiment, we've both come to get to the point where in Kevin Feige we trust, you know, that they're not going to divert too far away from what works necessarily. But one of the reasons that I'm hyped for this too is because it's a new character and it's a new world. It's a new corner of this universe to introduce and to explore and to bring up to the level of these other characters that we've grown to love over the course of these years. You know, I love sequels as much as the next guy, but I'm more excited for a new introduction of a character than I am for, say, something like Thor 4, which I think is going to be totally entertaining, and not that they can't do exciting things in it.
Yeah.
But I really do want to see Marvel sort of branch off. That's what I've loved about these Disney Plus television shows, is that they're able to drill down on characters that you like, but maybe didn't realize, you know, how important they could be. And if you had told me 2 years ago that I would consider a Wanda and Vision, you know, television series as one of the top 5 Marvel shows because of what it gets to emotionally, I would have laughed at you. But it goes to show how Marvel is evolving as storytellers, and I really do hope that Shang-Chi is the next step in that direction. I also wanted to correct the Mandarin mistake, because I think that was, you know, a gimmick that they used for Iron Man 3. It never really sat well with me. I want Mandarin to be a legitimate, tangible threat in the MCU, you know, as well he should be.
Yeah.
And so this looks like it's going in that direction. So, look, we have a while to go before Shang-Chi gets here. I assume we'll probably have one more trailer to go. And obviously we're going to have plenty of Marvel content to discuss here on CinemaBlend. Law, thank you for joining me on this breakdown of the new Shang-Chi trailer. I want to hear from you guys too. Head to the comments. Let us know what you thought of the trailer. What worked, what didn't work. Are you hyped like we are about a couple aspects? Are you cautious like we are about a few of the aspects? Hit the comments down below, and we'll see you back here on CinemaBlend for more Marvel talk.